I call to order the special meeting of the Pierce County Charter Review Commission on June 17th at 6 p.m. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Lisa Boyd. Here. George Consuelo. Mason Fletcher.
On his way.
Kate Ginn. Here. Sharon Hannick. Here. Caleb Heimlich.
Here.
Elizabeth Rivera. Here. Billy Joe Hedrington.
Here.
Jake Hunter.
Here.
Martha Lance.
Can I have you slide down?
Oh, they put our chairs
Here.
I know some
Justin
they
Layton.
didn't know how much it was going to be.
Kill your treasure.
You want to get rid of it?
membership. Oh, yeah, thanks.
Brenda Lincoln.
Yes or no?
Brenda Lewinsky.
There's a good one.
I'll have to come online.
So.
Roma Leary.
Here.
Holly Rogie. Here.
Okay, so you're
Susanna Rohr. Here. Devin Rydell Kelly.
here.
Troy Surratt.
Here.
Jen Marie Strictly. Here. Justin Lewis.
Present online.
And Kelsey Barrett.
Here. Do you mind just letting I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
And Commissioner Consuelo, who's joined us.
Commissioner Consuelo, you have a meeting.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. And now I will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. If folks are willing and able to stand, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Understood.
Oh, great. So, and just
Feeling patriotic today.
we will move on to approval of our agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda? It's pretty simple tonight, but. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. So we will jump right in to public comment for the night. Clerk, do you mind telling us about any written public comment?
Yes, there are 27 written comments that were received and are included in the meeting packet.
Thank you. So that takes us on to public comment both in the room and online. For any online folks, please virtually raise your hand. We'll do in the room comment first and then move online. So public comment or public engagement is a crucial component of this process. And we want to hear from the community as we prepare to take action on the remaining proposals. To ensure all members of the public are able to make their comments and to be consistent with our posted rules of engagement, I request that side conversations be taken out of the room. All comments be directed to the commission as a whole and not individual commissioners, and that the audience refrain from clapping or other expressions of agreement or disagreement. I just want to put a disclaimer in here too. It's actually kind of hard for us to hear each other sometimes if there's a lot of side conversation. So we know that there's a lot folks want to talk about. If you can just pop out into the hall, we would really appreciate it. As a reminder, the purpose of the Charter Review Commission is to review the charter and propose amendments that will be on the ballot in November for all registered voters of Pierce County to vote for or against. This body does not have the power to make final decisions about what is or is not in the charter. Additionally, our work will conclude on June 30th. Each person will have 2 minutes to share public comments. Time may not be donated to another speaker. Comments must pertain to specific proposals that are pending before this commission. So if folks were here on Monday night or were able to look online, we have reduced the number of proposals that are before us to C2, intergovernmental cooperation, C8R, competitive hiring for appointed positions, C20, conflict of interest exception for Charter Review Commission, C23, initiative and referendum signature requirements. C25, 4-year financial outlook. C28, replace coroner with medical examiner. C29, young persons commission. C30, sheriff ombuds. C31, executive pro tem. C32, initiative signature gathering timelines. C40, vacancies, suspensions, and acting officials. O1, financial procedures modernization, and O2, amendments to council legislation. Right. So, please state the proposal that you will be addressing tonight and direct your comments to those items, as opposed to general comments related to the commission process. As a reminder, and I just read through those proposals, so also the complete text of all of these proposals are in the packets, and there are copies here in the room as well. Public comments might be informed by, what's that? So public comments might be informed by the dot exercise that we did on Monday, but again, that was not to set any prioritization or to set any specific agenda for the commission. All right, so we will move on to in-person comment. I'll read the first name as well as the next couple so that people can know that they are up next. First, we have Ian Armstrong, and then Colleen Wise, and Mariana Shea, I believe. And I'm going to apologize right from the beginning that I might mess some folks' names up, so just know that that might happen. Sometimes I don't read people's writing particularly well, so just please be patient with me. Ian, you have 2 minutes.
All right, Ian Armstrong, 7th. So, wow, last week was fun. I guess we took a proposal that was wildly unpopular. Disagreed on how many people have spoken and written in against it, even though it's my understanding that most of us are against it. A lot of people thought that most of us were for it. And then we, at the final moment, added in a hold my beer moment. That's fantastic. You guys should all be ashamed of yourself for what you did with C1. Wow. I mean, just mind-blowing, isn't it? I guess we'll waste taxpayers' time and money and just go ahead and vote this down, but, like, disgusting for 3/4 of you guys. Just disgusting. How about C18? Let's pivot over to C18 because, C1's, I guess, a done deal. But you can't seriously consider putting an executive check on the judicial branch. Like, that's insane. Like, I guess, what am I talking about? You guys are insane. I shouldn't even bother, right?
Next, we have Colleen Wise, followed by Mariana Shea, and then Linda Well.
Thank you very much. Colleen Wise, District 2, honorable commission members, staff, and citizens. I have been on your side of the diocese, and I understand the weight of what your job is. Having been on a city council, I also tally comments for and against. My tally showed C1 should not be moved to the ballot. Majority did it anyway, with an amendment that we were not prepared for or were allowed to comment on. On the agenda tonight, referring to C18, I think you would be listening to the judges who have been overseeing the juvenile system. Why would you, the executive, want one more duty adding to his already very busy days? Remember, he wants to add help to his office due to the workload. Does he not have enough to do? That he would move this to a committee or someone else, more money, more time wasted, or why fix something when it's not broke? Anyway, I believe based on the low interest on 01 and 02, these two should be dropped from the consideration since there always seems to be more on your agenda than you can possibly cover, and the late hours are very difficult for many of us citizens. It's totally inconvenient. I would suggest that you drop C2 as you have many programs in place to safeguard the subject, as well as C8R would fall in that category as well, not to be considered. I would agree to advance C23 and 32. The people want to have their right and their voice in the initiative signature and time frame process. C25 would be another one that I would advance. Finance Outlook is a good tool. C28 should be easy to fix. I saw the medical examiner's SUV on the way home Monday night, and I'm thinking, well, he already is a medical examiner, but we have corner made for. That's an easy fix.
Yeah.
For C29, I would take this off consideration list. There are many programs out there for our youth who are interested. If they are not encouraged to be part of the process, not sure how we can fix that.
Thank
Can't
you.
make them
That
do
is
what
your
they
time.
don't want to do. Thank you very much.
Mariana, Linda Wow, and then Delaney McLaughlin.
My name is Marina.
Marina, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment on the Young Persons Commission. I totally don't agree with it, especially in this time. And the reason I don't is because it should be a cadet program that they show interest in, not a program that they are recruited. Oops, sorry. Not a program that they are recruited to be in by possibly more indivisible people. We have 12, the dirty dozen here. You guys recruit people. I don't want to see our youth recruited. I want to see them have critical thinking, and I want to see maybe a cadet program. But I'm telling you, this is just more of an extension of our indoctrination camp schools, and then getting them indoctrinated into your political agenda. That's the way I see it. This has been going on for decades. You guys are here. Some of you probably didn't pay attention 20 years ago. But the bottom line is this is an agenda that needs to end because it is un-American. And yeah, there's communists in this room or online. Devin, he wants to see a communist America. I do not. Not ever. I reject it. I reject this commission on a lot of what you've done. I reject what you've done with the sheriff. I think that this was an agenda that I saw Devin.
Excuse me, part of our rules are to not
Well,
directly.
the thing is you people have done this. What do you think? We're supposed to sit here and be quiet and not notice what you've done as individuals in your indivisible group? Come on, let's get real. This agenda is un-American, and it makes me sick. People have done a terrible job.
Next we have Linda, and please remember for the room, we request that folks not show any agreement or disagreement for any public comment. Next we have Linda Wow, and then Delaney McLaughlin and Keith Swank following that.
Just 2 days ago, my Ring app alerted me that 3 13, 14-year-olds on scooters tried to kick in an elderly couple's door just a mile from my house in University Place. This is just one reason why we needed elected Keith Swank, a 33-year law enforcement veteran who speaks plainly about biological reality while putting taxpayers first without confusing, indoctrinating language that kids today in all the public classrooms get. With Sheriff Swank's leadership, violent crime in unincorporated Pierce County dropped 17%, and property crime dropped 22%, obviously not what you people want. Yet in UP schools, where Democrat Senator Noble sits on the school board and Levitt and Bronowski are reps, we have paid way over $52 million for children being raped. They go to school to get educated and they get raped. So hey, Pierce County has over 2,500 registered sex offenders that Sheriff Swank has to manage. Okay? Just 90 days ago in Tacoma, we all saw that guy, the trans guy, that filmed raping the 6-month-old baby. We all saw it, right? And then you guys want to get mad because he talks about trans not being okay. Okay, you're okay with a trans rapist, right? In Tacoma, you guys get it? It's not acceptable, okay? And it probably started with a different agenda, okay? So this male had volunteered at the Reach Center's Youth Action Board, a youth homeless program that had received strong support and funding advocacy from County Executive Ryan Mello. Who would have thunk it? I don't know. Washington State claims we have 16,900 trans youth now, thanks to this and our schools. Okay, it's ridiculous. And you guys should all get fired.
That is your time. Thank you. Delaney, and then Keith Swank and Carol Sue Brayton.
Hello, Delaney McLaughlin, District 3. This evening I intended to speak about C-28 replacing our coroner with an appointed medical examiner. However, a recent development concerning C-1 and C-30 served to change my focus. Instead, I'm now here because, frankly, I'm stunned yet again. I've watched citizens come to these meetings week after week. I've watched them speak passionately, respectfully, and overwhelmingly against C1 and C30. And despite all that, these amendments move forward anyway. Now I hear about the amendment to that amendment, which would replace an elected sheriff with an appointed one come January 1st, cutting short the term of someone people already chose and have been continuing to choose. What message does that send? To me, it says that when voters make the wrong decision, the answer is not to persuade them, it is to change the system. When citizens show up in force, the answer is not to listen, it is to proceed anyway. That is not reform, it is not accountability, and it is certainly not respect for the people of Pierce County. If the public repeatedly says they want to elect their sheriff, or any official for that matter, then ignoring them and finding another path forward is not leadership, and it is telling the voters that their judgment cannot be trusted. It is insulting, and it happens far too often in many branches of government. I do not wish to continue to see it here. Please do not mistake disagreement for ignorance, and do not mistake public opposition for an obstacle to be overcome. Thank you.
Next we have Keith Swank, Carol Sue Brayton, and then Ken Paulson.
Keith Swank, District 3, I'll be speaking about C30. I've read statements from members of this commission saying that C1 is not political. It absolutely is. And to prove that, I suggest everyone within the sound of my voice submit a public records request for all commissioners here and ask for all records, written or otherwise, that involve the following words: Keith Swank, Sheriff, C1, C30, Amendment, Existential Threat, on public and private devices to include tablets, cell phones, computers, on paper, or any other means of expressing or communicating anything to do with Sheriff Swank and removing him from office. It would be interesting to see which politicians are working behind the scenes on this non-political amendment. And while you're at it, you might as well add all elected Pierce County politicians to your list. Amendments C1 and C30, they don't worry me at all. I look forward to the fight. I can't wait to doorbell against this. Wait until I tell community members that if this amendment passes, it will not just remove me from office. It will cause several wonderful Pierce County employees, people who I did not hire, to be fired because they are in appointed positions. A new sheriff appointed by the executive will fire them because he or she or whatever pronoun they use will think I hired them. I kept them on when I became sheriff because I didn't go after them just because my predecessor was a jerk. But that's not the way leftists behave. Maybe I'll bring them in here so Commissioner Layton can degrade and bully them like he does so many people here, especially women. One more thing. This amendment is great for recruiting. I've had lots of people reach out to me and want to join now. Can you imagine 50 to 100 new Swanks on the Pierce County Sheriff's Office? I can't wait, and we're hiring them as fast as I can. Thank you.
Next is Carol Sue Brayton, followed by Ken Paulson and Yoni.
Carol Sue Brayton, 5th District. No agenda was available this evening. At 5:10 this evening, nothing was available online. Nobody could see anything. You have 15 days to give us notice. I hope you're listening. They can nullify and void anything. That's state law. Has been for decades. The executive, I want to remind you that it was about 2021, maybe you weren't at the meeting, but he was opposing to have a sheriff that was appointed. He voted it down, the current executive. So I wonder who the sheriff will be because he can't appoint it, he's already stated. That's a very known fact. Because Bruce Dannemeyer suggested, since there was problems with Troyer, that this be done. Thank you. Now, I'm looking at other things. We have problems. And when you're not getting stuff online, people can't read it. They can't see it. They can't comment on it. They don't know what's happening. They have rights. I will remind you that our executive was also illegally on top of the Tacoma Dome without the proper equipment that is required and has been mandated that I had to work under and others in different fields for securing themselves to the Tacoma Dome to put a flag up. And it wasn't the U.S. And there was other people there. They also violated those laws. They are subject to the RCWs, just like the rest of us are. Why did they get the privilege and not get cited? Do we want somebody who follows the law or somebody who doesn't? So I'm going to say on initiative referendum signatures, we need that amount of signatures. We don't want to lower it. To replace the coroner with medical examiner, absolutely. No sheriff's ombudsman, we don't need the oversight. There's so much oversight right now. If you actually looked at all the laws, you'd take a look and see how much oversight and what departments have oversight. The cost alone would be extensive. Initiative signature gathering, we want more time. Thank you for your time.
So next is Ken Paulson, followed by Yoni.
Ken Paulson. We talk about 29 and 30, although I personally think that anything and everything from the Dirty Dozen, which I enjoy that, should not be on the ballot. Just don't do anything and erase what you've done.
Yes.
Anyway, Young Persons Commission, that's school. Just forget it. Don't waste our taxpayer Pierce County money. High school does it, junior high does it, whatever they call it today. The sheriff, ombudsman. Okay, if this is going to have to be, let's put it for everybody. 2005. It might have been 2006, but I filed a referendum that never got a number. The auditor's office is supposed to give it a number. They didn't give it a number. They were called out at the 2026 charter review, and the lawyer found out that it didn't happen. They just sent it to the prosecutor's office. So let's do this ombudsman for everybody. Auditor, prosecutor, which didn't correct the auditor's screw up, the executive, because this was on the golf course. That was a done deal. I think everybody was in on it, but that's a question mark at the end of that. You can go back to 2026, and they got a letter from the prosecutor's office, if you don't believe it.
Thank you. Yoni, and then Sean. Communications staff, Jair. Commissioner Molesky has indicated that she can't get into the Zoom. I don't see her yet, so I'm trying to communicate with her via text to figure out what her user is. So we will try to get her in. Thank you, Commissioner Lentz, for helping that. And then I also want to make sure, Clerk, that we got the Commissioner Fletcher is here. Perfect. Okay. Over to you. And then we'll have Carlson, Gordon, and Sheila Wynn.
So I'd just like to talk about all the amendments here, specifically the sheriff's ombuds. I think that, if it's an ombuds that's here to collect complaints, well, he's right here. You can talk to him directly. He's on the internet, right? I don't know of any political person that's that accessible where you can get a hold of them and voice your complaint. And I think he has received complaints, and there's certain feedback he takes, right? And so I think that's good of any elected official, and I think he sets the standard for taking feedback and using it to improve. And he takes feedback from anyone. I also have not a prop here, but a thing that I want to talk about for the for the 4-year financial outlook, because I have a speech impediment. So Yeah, so I just want to show that off and give that as a gift to y'all. So I think that for the Young Persons Commission, we should have more young folks come out and support and make Pierce County great again. I think we should have we should double this commission and have a young county charter commission, so we could double that, and you guys can pack the commission or pack whatever thing you want to pack, right? So I just think here that a lot of this is very anti-democratic, right? Like we're talking about no kings, right? No kings, right? But you guys are acting like a king and taking away our right to vote. So I don't see how taking away someone's choice, right? You're all about choice and choice to do this, choice to do that, right? So why are you taking away our choice, right? Like, imagine if this is turned around and it was all, Republicans. You probably wouldn't like that either, right? So I think that providing choice and local accountability and local choice is a good thing, and taking away a choice is the exact opposite of what you guys claim to be protecting. So I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you.
Carlson Gordon, Sheila Lynn, and then Jeff Joseph.
My name is Carl Gordon, and I'm from District 7. And I want to talk about all the amendment proposals. But mainly, I want to talk about this commission. As you guys are put in commission, you are representatives of the people. When do you go out and talk to the people and ask them what they want? Now, we come here and we express our desires, but you don't listen. Because it's obvious you don't listen, because you do what you want. You did it with C1. You're going to do it with every proposal here. You're going to do what you want. We have nothing to say. You guys are representatives. If you don't represent us, we're going to vote you out.
Sheila Lynn, followed by Jeff Joseph, and then Emily Anderson.
Sheila Lynn, District 5. I have a lot to say, and I'm angry. So I'm going to try to make this respectful and not disrespectful. I feel like I'm on a playground with a bunch of people who are part of the Sheriff Swank and his sniveling sycophants. And I can tell you that his normal words on Monday were insulting, not only to me, but to the very people that are his minions. Yes, even you, lady with the fish face. So this big city sheriff is this big city sheriff. I am reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. You all got to speak.
We'll talk about our amendment.
Attack us.
Stop
doing what you're
Talk about an amendment.
Behave like an
I'm going to have to
We
clear
are
this
your
room
time.
if everyone
Talk
cannot
about the amendment.
pay attention to the fact that I have
Talk about the
scowled.
amendment.
Can we?
That's what you did that one.
Can you believe this?
So I understand. Can we please quiet the room? Thank you. If we can we will restart, not fully. I think we're at 1:12. If we can please address the commission, that is the purpose of public comment.
Yes. Okay. So the normal words he had were not only incendiary, but were disrespectful, not only to me, but to the public that he is supposed to serve and protect. I do not find it amusing that people come up here and make fun and pick on you all for doing the job that you volunteered to do. I think that with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
That is a Spider-Man quote, if you didn't know. Now, with
So much more than that.
with what is going on,
What amendment are you doing?
we are talking about the ombudsman, and we need to have oversight, and we need to have guardrails so that the oversight is neutral and non-conflict.
I had a spouse who was in the military and you could not fraternize. Not only that, I worked for this county and I was told by my boss, you cannot take a 25-cent cup of coffee from anybody, not even a bottle of water, because it's a conflict of interest. Do you all hear me? Okay. So, I can tell you that I also have children, and an opportunity to be on a committee that is political is important.
Jeff Joseph, followed by Emily Anderson and Carla Scott.
I'm glad you're mad.
And please take any conversation out to the hall so that we can hear the public comment that is here for us.
Jeff Joseph, District 5. I'm here to talk in opposition to C18 and C30. Commissioners, it is obvious that the individual members of this commission have never intended to do anything other than pass highly partisan policy legislation in the form of amendments that simple messaging will convince underinformed voters to support in November. That is exactly the case with the oversight of juvenile detention system as well as the sheriff ombuds. Members of this commission have expressed in recent meetings they have never had explained the difference between policy issues and charter structural modifications. Members of this commission have recently made it obvious that, more obvious than ever, that their actions are governed by highly partisan organized efforts to defeat the voters' choice of elected office holders. Now members of this commission want to spend taxpayer money that is neither theirs nor the county's to hire another partisan and biased resource to obstruct the good work of the justice system in Pierce County. The proponents of C18 themselves have no expertise on the subject of juvenile detention and have made no effort to fully study the subject. Even worse, they have resisted learning from those elected and appointed to be responsible for fairly and safely dealing with juvenile criminals. The pro-C18 commissioners will move to pass on to the ballot oversight measures that add nothing to citizen protections that already exist in part based on the unfounded claim that the oversight will save on litigation expense. The proof of the claim is the amount Pierce County has paid in response to lawsuits. They have no detailed study of any such recent lawsuits, especially subsequent to the recent improvements put in place by those currently responsible. I would suggest that if you're concerned about losing lawsuits or paying too much in settlements, the problem would be an incompetent legal resource. Why would a competent county attorney settle a suit such as Mitchell versus Pierce County, which was settled in 2023 for $1.7 million to a former top-level county staffer, even though the county denied wrongdoing? I'm sure our attorneys would say somehow they save money, which is nonsensical since the biggest cost of any suit is legal fees, and we are paying county attorneys whether they are in court or sitting in their office. If you really want to help the taxpaying citizens of Pierce County, provide oversight of the apparently incompetent and clearly biased county attorney and our staff. Thank you very much.
Emily Anderson, Carla Scott, and Lisa Olson.
Emily Anderson, District 1. I'm opposing C1, C2, C30, O2. Require amendment to council legislation be in writing. The verbiage states, except for emergency ordinances, amendments to resolution and ordinances must be in writing and available for public inspection at least 4 hours prior to the meeting start time of applicable council or council meetings. I do not agree with the except for emergency verbiage in this proposed amendment, as it doesn't allow the public the ability to participate in the process. Furthermore, this proposed amendment appears to be another rule for thee, but not for me, because last Monday's meeting, there was a proposed amendment that was adopted to have the sheriff removed from office January 1st if proposed amendment C1 passes on the ballot. This did not allow for any public to state their position on this proposed amendment. I did some research in the past election because the conversation that took place with the commissioners at Monday's meeting. November 5th, 2024, there were 59,379 people who voted for County Council in District 2. In November 2025, for District 2 Charter Review Commission was 24,130 voters. In 2024, 49,083 people voted for County Council. In, I got a typo. Anyhow, in 2025, for Charter Review Commission in the same area, I think it was District 4, there were 26,492 votes cast. Just using those two districts as an example of voting areas based off of the election year, there were significantly lower voter turnout in 2025. There were significantly less people who voted for everyone in this room compared to people who voted for our county council members and our sheriff. Adding up the total of votes for everyone in this commission is 326,075. That's 64,751 votes less than the people who voted for Keith Swank and Patty Jackson in 2025.
That is your time. Thank you. Carla Scott and then Lisa Olson.
I didn't get to the end. Thank you.
Carla Scott, District 5. I've been speaking at these meetings for months. I don't feel I need to speak anymore. You're outnumbered. You've been outnumbered for the last several meetings. I know you're pushing your agenda. I understand that. I understand that's freedom of speech. But you also are representatives. And I've prayed about what to say to you people today. Listen to us. We're angry. I haven't had a meal since breakfast. But this meeting is so important that I came here instead of going home. What you have, let's see, how did that one guy say? I campaigned on getting rid of Keith Swank. Does that tell you something? I'm speaking about CJ. ICE didn't exist before September 11th, 2001. Do any of you remember, were you alive on September 11th, 2001? Do you know what happened? Do you realize the severity of that day? The terrorist attacks killed nearly 3,000 Americans. And it revealed a glaring weakness in how the federal government handled immigration and border security. Multiple agencies shared overlapping responsibilities. ICE is not the enemy. They would not be needed if the Biden administration had not opened our borders to over 10 million unvetted, unidentified people who came to take from the U.S., not contribute. 40 of our 50 states have populations of less than 10 million people. That's not immigration, that's an invasion.
Our final speaker in the room tonight is Lisa Olson.
Okay, Lisa Olson, District 4, members of the Pierce County Charter Review. When the majority of public turnout opposes a proposal like C1, advancing it sends the message that input doesn't matter. Repeatedly placing similar measures on the ballot until one passes creates voter fatigue. We have a problem with turnout. Let's not make it worse. We have seen this pattern in Pierce County. In my district, Proposition 1 to increase property taxes, which are already the highest property taxes in the whole state of Washington. Some pay $22,000 a year. The voters turned out in droves, made their own signs. They didn't want it. We don't want 4 more police officers in University Place. Yet, after it failed, they put it back on the ballot 3 months later. And that's a pattern that we see here. So, do we have our 4 officers yet, Sheriff? If you can nod. Okay, we finally do. Good. People see their voices ignored and stop participating because they believe they will not be heard by commissioners, councils, elected officials of all sorts. This reduces the turnout, as I said. Article 11, Section 5 of the Washington Constitution provides for the election of sheriffs. So, King County, everybody's out of compliance here that's not listening to that. Article 1, Section 1 states that all political power is inherent to the people. As I said before, voters restored the elected sheriff in 2006 to maintain accountability. Moving forward, C1 would override that. No to C30. Respect the public. Look at the majority of turnout. We might not vote, but we sure turn out. Why aren't you working on issues that truly matter? Like spending problem, the drug addicts that are everywhere. I just drove by a ton in front of Winco. They're down on M Street, Hilltop, Pacific Ave, all the way to 176th. Take care of that problem. Force them into treatment. Force them into care. We want to help.
That concludes public comment in the room for this evening. We'll now move on to online comments. If you would like to share comments tonight, please virtually raise your hand or hit *69. I think that's the correct number. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's okay.